It's fascinating that the DRL is becoming more and more of an international organization every year, but one of their main sponsors is the United States Air Force. I mean, I don't mind. I love seeing the commercials with the fighter pilots, and the Air Force is sick, but work, baby. Level 5 is the last of 3 back-to-back simulator levels from the past week. If you haven't seen either of the videos from those races, you can click it up there, or it will be waiting for you in the description down there after the video. But without further ado, I'm your host, Jordan Kyle, and this is Mad Props. Semi-final Group 1, we have Pavelos, Killian, MCK FPV, the Level 4 champion Maverick, Hyper, and Seba FPV. So it was an entire group of rookies being pitted against one another. The Boneyard is a dope map. There are huge military planes that the pilots have to navigate around. You even see some of the pilots taking different lines over wings and others going under wings of the planes on the map. With obstacles in their way that aren't the traditional course elements like gates, the pilots have to choose what lines are going to be the best for their trajectory to give them the best time possible. With 3 races in a row, it doesn't give the pilots a lot of time to practice on the sticks at their own pace and mentally reset. So those who have had confidence and who have performed well in the past 2 days have a serious edge on those who have been struggling. But every new race is a new opportunity to get your name a little higher on the leaderboard.
Heat 1. Semifinals 1.
Pavelos and Maverick have a really tight finish, but Pavelos gets Heat 1 of the semifinals, making him the first pilot into the finals.
Heat 2. Semifinals 1.
In Heat 2, Maverick needed to pick it up if he wanted a spot in the finals, but that pressure seemed to get to him with an early mistake, costing him big time with propeller damage and a spot in last place. Killian comes out of nowhere in lap 2 and just starts taking names. He was whizzing past the competition and gets back into the finals by winning Heat 2.
Heat 3. Semifinals 1.
Hyper starts showing that he came to play at the beginning of Heat 3 of these semifinals, but it wasn't quite enough to beat Pavelos, moving this group into sudden death.
Sudden death.
Maverick, MCK, Hyper, and Seba are all fighting for a spot in the finals. MCK knew that the pressure was on, and he usually struggles with pressure. Maverick comes out of the split S with the lead, but MCK had the momentum to snatch the gold in the final second of the race. What a nail biter. Semifinals Group 2 was filled with veterans. Halo Walker, Alex FPV, Amari, Gab 707, Vanover, and rookie Singyu. I'm sure it was intimidating to Singyu to be up against so much talent and experience, but he was not about to back down from a fight. Amari was the 2021 DRL Sim Tournament champion, so he has proven his worth when it comes to the sim flying. But he's not been able to make the finals this week, and I'm sure that's been weighing on him. Would this be his shot? Vanover started the season hot, but he's been struggling to find traction in the sim races this week as well. Gab 707 had COVID-19 all week, and I reached out to him to check in, and he said it's been hard to focus, he can barely talk, and he's had some serious headaches. Could this be a 1997 Michael Jordan moment? Game 5 of the NBA Finals, despite having flu-like symptoms, Jordan and the Chicago Bulls made the Utah Jazz look like children on the court. Could legendary pilot Gab 707 come through and earn some points on the season? Halo Walker has expressed frustration with his previous performances this week, so was he going to bring the heat into these semifinals? Alex FPV had won 2 levels on the season already, and he has been feeling great both in real life and in the sim. So everyone had a reason to fight for these semifinals, and the tension was high right from the start.
Heat 1. Semifinals 2.
Halo Walker and Alex FPV got an early head start, each having their own expertise on this course. It came down to the wire, but Halo Walker walked away with the gold, earning him the 4th spot in the finals.
Heat 2, Semifinals 2.
Amari took drone damage in Heat 1 and took damage again here in Heat 2, which was hard to see. Gab started to pick up some momentum, and I can't lie, I was cheering for him loud and proud. But no one seemed to be able to catch up to Halo Walker, and a 2nd place in the semifinals is meaningless if you want to move on to the finals. So with Halo Walker in 1st place, a sudden death was going to be forced on Group 2.
Heat 3, Semifinals 2.
You could tell Alex was getting frustrated, but he was not going to back down from a fight. But just like Icarus, however, he flew too close to the sun and took some prop damage near the end of lap 1. This put Gab 707 in 1st place, but before long, Amari would remind us of what he can do in the simulator. He would lead most of lap 2 until Halo Walker would rise up like Harry Potter in the final seconds and grab his broom and sweep the semifinals. Amari was clearly frustrated at himself. 1st and 2nd place of sudden death would both be going on to the finals, so tensions were high going into this race.
Sudden death.
In the beginning, Amari and Gab 707 would continue their momentum from Heat 3, but near the end of lap 2, Alex passes Vanover. Alex passes Gab 707. Alex makes his way into the finals. Amari shouts, "Don't call it a comeback. We never left," after earning his spot in the finals of the season. A rough start, but I've said it before, there is still a lot of meat on that bone this season. Anyone could be this year's champion. The pilots in the finals were Halo Walker, Pavelos, Killian, Alex FPV, MCK FPV, and Amari. Halo Walker at this point has a 10-point gap in the season, so these finals would be huge in determining if Halo would widen the gap or if MCK or Alex would start to hone in on Halo Walker.
Heat 1, Finals.
Right at the start of Heat 1, Alex had a great start, but Halo was right behind him. Alex would go on to break the map record of the level and would be the 1st pilot in the Golden Heat. Evan Turner, who flies as Heads Up, was the 2020 and 2021 DRL World Champion. He commentates on the league now. He mentioned that Alex struggles with the split S, and that would be a make or break moment for him on the course. But in a posty interview, Alex says that he mastered the split S by recalling Heads Up's lines from last year and trying to emulate them. It is so good to see pilots who actively try to get better and who review footage to make improvements race after race. Also, just a side note here, commentator Craig Hummer says these small one-liners at the intro of every heat. They're usually pretty silly, like,
"Be rewarded only if you are better than the rest,"
or
"Step up and subdue your adversaries,"
or
"Dare to enter the danger zone."
he's actually really good at them. But at the beginning of Heat 2, he says,
"Fly like Taruk Makto was chasing you,"
which I guess is a reference to Avatar, but also, what? Like, I'm sorry, what?
Heat 2, Finals.
MCK and Amari damage their drones pretty early on, and Alex makes a pretty big mistake, leaving it wide open for Halo, Pav, and Killian. Halo ends up beating Pavelos by 2/100ths of a second, and Halo exclaims, "You got veteraned!" His experience is really coming through against these rookies.
Heat 3, Finals.
More prop damage at the start of Heat 3 with MCK, Alex, and Killian all taking some hits. If Amari or Pavelos won a shot into the Golden Heat, this was their best shot. But Halo Walker was standing in their way. Pavelos gets some damage, giving Halo Walker back-to-back wins, and Amari gets a silver.
Heat 4, Finals.
Killian was showing off all through lap 1, but sadly, he was a victim to some prop damage yet again. Halo Walker takes damage, then MCK, and then Alex. So Amari and Pavelos just need to fly smoothly into the gate, and they will both earn a spot in the Golden Heat. 4 heats in, and there are 4 pilots in the Golden Heat, and things are getting a little crowded. But there are 2 heats left to go.
Heat 5, Finals.
Near the end of this race, all the previous standings of the races got flipped upside down. Alex was at the bottom, and MCK and Killian were 1st and 2nd respectively. Halo Walker was fighting for 2nd to try to keep them out of the Golden Heat, but it wasn't enough. MCK started the race in last, and he came back like the prodigal son to take his place in the Golden Heat.
Heat 6. Finals.
Going into this final heat, it was Killian against the world. He needed a first or second to be the final pilot in the Golden Heat, and everyone was fighting to keep him out of it. Like rain though, one by one, the pilots began to drop. First MCK, then Amari, then Alex. With only 3 pilots left in the running, Killian just needed to not be the third. Halo Walker was dominating, as he does, and Pavelos and Killian were going back and forth in second place. But Pavelos makes a crucial mistake, and Killian gets the silver. For the first time this season, we have 6 pilots in the Golden Heat. It is an all play, folks.
Golden Heat. Winner takes all.
This was a tight matchup. Halo Walker continued his dominance for most of the race, but some carnage near the end of lap 2 put Halo Walker back into 4th place, leaving room for Alex to come forward and get the win. MCK and Amara were right behind him, and they took silver and gold. The celebrations were visceral as all 3 pilots were so excited to get the edge on frontrunner Halo Walker. Alex FPV has literally won every other level so far this season. He's won all the odd number levels. In fact, he's won every single Golden Heat that he's been in all season long. Although Alex's colors of red and blue are very appropriate because he is either hot or cold. And when he's hot, he's unbeatable. But when he's in his slump, there's not much he can do to get out of it, it seems. However, he still does not have enough points in the season to beat out Halo Walker, though. Halo has been the most consistent pilot by far this season. He got 2nd place on level 1, 1st place on level 2, and has placed 4th in every sim level. He has not missed a finals yet. And if he can keep this consistency, he'll be untouchable. Halo has been hard on himself these past few levels, but I'm telling you, if he just stays consistently on this path and continues to make the top 4 every race, he won't need the most podiums to be the DRL World Champion. The next race is on December 17th on the DRL's website. It's listed as Semifinals, Race in the Cloud, presented by Google Cloud. So they aired the finals of Race in the Cloud on November 17th, the full race on December 1st, and now they're airing just the semifinals on the 17th. I'm not sure what's going on. That's probably my biggest qualm with the DRL is their schedule. I just want to be able to plan around the races, both as a fan and as a YouTuber podcaster. But the site is so unclear when the races are, what levels are being aired, and what parts of the race are being shown. It's really frustrating, and I would love to see some change made to that. I do have a couple more videos in the works right now to release before December 17th, but also some until the next race after that in January. So go ahead and get subscribed so you can see when those come out. I'm excited to get more and more content out about the DRL, about the racers, the pilots, and everything involved. But until then, thanks for watching. I'm Jordan Kyle, signing off.